Hey everybody, it's John Binnie. I'm in my camper van. I do not know how many times I've hit record and tried to get this recording to work, but it has been 5, 6, maybe 7 times. The main problem was that it's just too hot here in England, here in May. In fact, May the 1st was the hottest May on record in England. So, what am I doing? Let's share the journey. Okay, where do I start? So I'm on my road trip. I was doing a world tour of. It's quite loud here. I was doing a world tour of England, the world of England. And this is a week where I had planned relatively last minute. I think it was only 2 or 3 weeks before I departed, and even then the dates weren't certain. But I wanted to go on a bit of a tour and meet some beautiful souls that I've known as clients and friends for many years now, but I've never met in person, and yet we're in the same country. So it felt like a really good opportunity to go ahead and, just go for it. The last weekend, I was really down. I was feeling very down because this camper van was struggling, and it had a coolant problem. And what did I say? That the weather is like, it was the hottest May on record. So that's the last season you want is with any engine problems. So very luckily I'd managed to get the staff to kind of arranging provisional dates and meeting people. And I had, like with different clients, I'd put in, little kind of slots in the day for when we'd be able to meet up in my calendar. So arrangements have been made that far, and then I've managed to get my camper van into the garage. But the problem was that the thermostat, that's what it was first. The thermostat for the cooling system was replaced, but that wasn't the only issue. And so through Friday they realised that actually it was going to take until Monday to fix, because the water pump had to be replaced. So the garage were amazing. Thankfully they did. In fact, they fixed it within 7 minutes. There goes that number again, my lucky number 7. Oh, and it's almost 7 p.m. It's currently 6:59. If it had been fixed 7 minutes later, I would have missed the last train to go and picked up my camper van that day, and then likely I wouldn't have seen it. To be, I didn't feel it would be worth just going down for such a long journey for even less days. I thought it would be too exhausting. Anyway, I did get my camper van on time, or plan B if you like. So I did reschedule. I managed to get most of my clients rescheduled, not all. And for those that I didn't, I'd love to come and visit you another time. Especially now I feel braver to do longer distances. The fascinating journey was leaving. I've never done this. I've never driven more than 2 hours at a time, but I bravely or obsessively, like you decide, I just punched in into my GPS. It was that moment, instead of putting in a stepping stone on the way to the main place I was going to, I just put in the final destination, because I thought, well, I can always stop on the way, right? I'm in a camper van, I'm self-contained, I can just go and stop and park anywhere and sleep the night, whatever. but since it started at 11 p.m. and I just wondered, oh, maybe I'll like go for a bit of a sleep. So yeah, I powered on through the night, and I did know that once I got to like 2 or 3 in the morning, that if I was able to keep driving safely, I did have three short stops on the way, that if I was feeling okay by sunrise, likely I'd make it all the way through to the destination, even though the farthest I've ever driven like that was about 5 hours, so 9.5 just seemed incredible. So I did it and turned up to such a beautiful place. So down in south of Devon, met Leah Solnaz. Leah's a fantastic soul, just incredible to work with, and she has a marketing company, also photography. Thank you, Leah, for the amazing photos of Hatch and myself, and also in just script writing and acting. So and plays guitar and more, and sings and more things. So that was wonderful to meet her, and we sat and chatted and shared our journeys and our aspirations and dreams. Then Patch and I, we headed up to visit MJ and a friend Scott. So we headed up to North Devon, and that was just wonderful. We spent a few days together, and there was a lot of how to describe it, as well as beach visits and walks and time in the sun together. There was these beautiful moments where we were just incredibly present and sharing our journeys and how to describe it, the magic of them, and how we shared so much with each other about how the magic of our lives continue to unfurl, to open up, to blossom, and well beyond our expectations. That felt really beautiful and humbling too. In both Scott and MJ, I saw aspects of myself, and that I found naturally humbling, because they are both incredible beings. So thank you, Scott and MJ. And then after that, I headed up to Oxfordshire and met up with Chloe Rose, and so that was today. We went for just a beautiful walk together. We went for a walk around these ancient, beautiful ruins, and like circled back to the camper van. And here I am driving back. It's Google said it was a 6.5 hour drive now in a camper van, plus I took at least one wrong turn, which slowed me down by an unknown amount of time. My guess is anything between about 6.5 and 7.5 hours, so it's still a significant journey, but feels I feel really rested. So I feel really good about it, and I feel a lot. I think it's also things are always easier when you're heading back home, right? They just feel the journey home feels faster, and there's not the there's not the anxiety of not being certain about what's there on your arrival. So I also on this trip, I passed my April 30th, so that was 12 months, a year to the day, since I was last in the office at Amazon. I shared a video about that and cried, had such happy tears, and it's funny because it's quite a short video, yet like under 10 minutes or something. Yet the most powerful aspect of it is the emotion. And who could want for more? Who could want for more than living your highest joy, living your dream life? Like it's really possible, people. you can do it. Like if you choose it, you can do it. And everyone's dream life is unique. Everyone's dream life is, special to you. It's unique to you. So encouraging you to follow what feels right for you. If you're wondering, I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but if you're wondering what's all over the windscreen, there's a lot of pigeon poop. The beautiful place that I stayed at in Oxfordshire had a really beautiful park, and then next to the park there is this car park, which what totally confused me was the car park filled with cars had all these signs saying no parking, like repeatedly no parking. I think it looked like some kids or someone with a sense of humor had been turning the signs around because they were like funny, they were facing in funny directions. But I didn't get it. It's like, why would you say no parking in a car park? And it wasn't just one or two cars. By 9 a.m. this morning, the whole car park was filled. So that I found that amusing. I was just watching. Chloe had posted a little video about meeting me, and what was really very humbling about meeting everybody in person was the hug. Like just when you first meet someone in the flesh and giving them a big hug, and that heart connection, like just feeling someone's big, open, loving heart connecting with yours, I found just like electrical, like this wonderful, loving, caring being, every one of you. So thank you for that gift. I said to Chloe, because we didn't get a huge amount of time together, and I just said, Chloe, I would have driven all this 6.5 hours down and back just for the hug, right? Like just because that human contact with friends, with beautiful souls, I feel is so powerful. So if you're thinking about it, connecting with perhaps people that you've met online, then please do use your discernment, get to know people, follow your heart, and if you do choose to meet with people, meet up in with boundaries and with how to describe it, like just keeping yourself safe. Now, I really didn't fear for my safety with any of the people I met, but I'm just saying, whilst I encourage you to meet with people, please do so safely. And if you haven't noticed, one of my boundaries is to connect when I meet with people. Is I like to be able to stay in my camper van, because it means that I am not staying in someone's home, and I feel like it's a lovely boundary to have, right? But it also gives each other space and flexibility and freedom. And I'm sure there'll be other people I meet. I'd love to meet more people in the US and Canada and around the world. Australia, I'd love to go to Australia. Hawaii, I'd love to go to all these places and meet people in person. Again, I would prefer to stay in an Airbnb or a hotel, or like hire a camper van. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to meet in person. So thank you. And I would also say, having met several people in the same weekend, what was really wonderful, there was like a feeling in their hearts that felt very, there's like a theme of the frequency, and I feel that's what I'm picking up on, is a very similar frequency, and that is a high vibration, loving, open heart, and absolutely towards me, which I'm truly grateful for, and I hope that they felt that feeling as well. And then also just as people, it's almost like, just like our moods go up and down and up and down in our lives, and in the day, that there's still a range to it, and that frequency range of the lowest frequency of your emotions to the highest frequency of your emotions in any given day, is the kind of, the you can describe it as like the kind of average of your emotions, or the baseline of your emotions, and I hope that I help help others, because you help me massively, so thank you. Oh, there was so much as we've been talking, so much has like come through to me that I want to share more about. Oh yeah, there was lots of themes we did. Now I'm sure I might be like hallucinating this, but I'm sure I did a video and I was talking about like the deepest, darkest like aspects of the world at this time, and beings that choose to try and control the world. I thought I did it on the video that was driving down, but I appreciate that not everyone watches every single video, and nor do I expect you to. Especially these driving videos, they are wonderful. I enjoy the ability to vocally journal and hear myself saying things and receive that back. So, don't feel that by any means that you have to watch every single video. But if the title catches your attention, and you've got the time, then please do watch my videos and like and comment, say hello, share with your friends that you think it will resonate with as well. Yeah, talking a little bit about some of the darkness and shadow. So I was just watching a video from Chloe, and I'm probably going to get her friend's name wrong, but it was something like pineal gland superpowers, maybe, or pineal gland powers. So Chloe and her friend were talking about their experiences of drugs, including alcohol. It's fascinating, they kept saying and alcohol, and I just wanted to say including alcohol because that was absolutely their message. Their message was that alcohol is absolutely a dangerous drug, and they shared through their experiences. And if you're not seen, I've done videos, quite a few actually now, about my experiences with alcohol. And in short, I drank, quite relatively regularly from about the age of 17 to 40. And in that 23 years, I developed quite a habit. And I got to the stage where latterly it was I was drinking, I was about to say almost every night, but you could say maybe a more accurate way would be saying every night, but with some exceptions, like the odd exception. And it would vary from 1 or 2 drinks, that would be me, trying to consciously not drink too much, through to an average night would probably be 3 or 4 drinks, and one of the big challenges I had was whiskey. Living in Scotland, drink whiskey, John. And I loved it. I loved the taste of whiskey and how it made me feel. It's like it just made you feel so warm inside and like a big cozy blanket. And yet, I would pour these shots, and I had no idea how much I was putting in, and I'd also be drinking it. I'd often feel quite sleepy, and so I'd be drinking quite a lot, almost to like keep yourself awake. But in particular, if you're drinking, it was straight whiskey, sometimes with a tiny little bit of water in it. It's almost like I'd still be getting drunker as I went to bed, as I went to sleep. So yeah, my body did not enjoy that, and as a result, I was hungover most days. And okay, most could be 51%. The reality was I was hungover to a greater or lesser degree every day, with some exceptions. And what did help me was my running really helped like clear hangovers, but it also kind of propagated this almost high functioning, alcoholic like behavior. Now, you might be listening to this and you might be drinking the same amount or more. I'm not judging you, and I'm also not judging myself, right? I don't have a problem calling myself an alcoholic in terms of the consumption behaviors or whatever label that we would kind of judge or project onto that. Yet I also now fully accept that it was a big part of my journey. At a point in my life, I had consciously chosen to become addicted to alcohol. And it's a funny thing to say, right? Like we feel like addictions are involuntary, but it's also true. No matter how addictive the substance is, it's still a choice. It just the stronger the addiction, the harder and harder it becomes to give it up. And catalysts for me included, my awakening, right? Simply shifted everything. I started meditating each morning right after my awakening. And my awakening happened in a meditation. In fact, I think in that meditation, I just managed to recover from a hangover. And so I was like just on the very edge of like the final stage of recovering from the hangover. And by hangover I mean like I felt groggy and dehydrated, and that was so common for me back then. It's funny as I say this because I'm just reaching for some water. I'm still drinking the water from MJ's. She has our water's filtered from a local stream, which is amazing. It is lovely. There's no fluoride in it or anything. Like it just, it reminds me a lot of mineral water, but like less refined, less processed. Where do I start? The journey of me giving up. I remember trying to meditate with a hangover, and that didn't work. It was a similar experience to when I gave up smoking in my early 20s. That I couldn't run each morning and smoke. Like I had to choose between them. And those choices, they're important, right? Like I feel like everyone will have something in their life that they will choose over their addiction. Self-love can be a huge thing, and if it's not directly self-love, then maybe it's something that contributes to self-love, like or demonstrates self-love, like self-care. And for me, meditation was a personal development. It was a step into self-care, and I realized that when I tried to meditate with a hangover, like things seemed very numb and difficult, like a cloud. Yeah, you can describe like a cloud in my brain, and especially around like my pineal gland, my third eye, my crown chakra. Then I was also at the time, so this is back in 2017 and into 2018, that I'd also begun to write music in the mornings, and so I couldn't really do it very well. I remember listening to recordings when I was like, I'd been drinking the night before. My voice seemed much tighter. Like my vocal range was restricted. My voice was very croaky, which I kind of liked, that rock kind of raspy voice, but it was not strong. It lacked strength, and I would just have a bit of a migraine. So it did used to take quite regularly. I was taking ibuprofen, and that's not good either, right? Taking one drug to counteract the other. The other aspect I'd describe about alcohol is it would make me feel very like, I just felt like it was like a comfort blanket. I'd like sit down in the evening, put the TV on, and then just lift this comfort blanket over me, and it was comforting, right? Like in those moments, my body, I felt less connected with my body, and I felt less stressed in those moments. But now when I look back with more clarity, I realize that the full experience I was really having was almost like this kind of deep, like pulling a duvet over like your duvet on your bed, like up over you, and it not actually being a duvet. It was more like a negative entity, and they have a very similar. I never say this word right. Or sorry, I'm learning to say this word right. Anesthetize, use it like this numbing effect, and they would also feed off my energy while I was in this vulnerable state. I'd often catch myself watching darker, like lower vibration movies and ghost hunting shows, and often a lot of fear-based things. And I still enjoy like good action movies, and still watch the odd thing. Sometimes it's a bit scary, but it would like the average, if you like, the range of frequency would like drop, and I'd really focus on lower vibration things. And also any of my anger and frustration, my lower vibration feelings would be amplified. Now, I know some people say things like, alcohol just helps people, open up and share their, speak their truth, and or at least that's, I don't know if that's such a popular, cultural term now, but back when I was in my 20s and 30s, that's what people would say. Let loose and really just be your whole self. But the reality was, for me, for sure, that was not me, right? That was like this other John like came out, and it was really what I now know to be all the negativity both attached to me as a negative entity attachments, and then also my own self-loathing, all that coming out and amplified. Like, that's not John, right? It's a collection, it's an aggregation of these low vibration, painful, hateful, resentful, unforgiving aspects of me. So yeah, I would say that the opposite is true, that actually your heart, when you're drunk, I feel like your heart is closed, whereas when you're happy and you're in joy, and maybe you're doing something like meditation or yoga or qigong, tai chi, you're doing some sort of like self-care practice, that's when you become your true self, because your heart opens, and that our natural state for hearts is for our heart to be open. Just like, flowers blossom and their petals open up to receive the energy of the sun and attract in to receive insects to cross-pollinate. Like this is nature's way, right? We're children of the same planet, and having an open aspect to ourselves is what really allows us to become the whole of us. And I don't just mean just the light side, right? An open heart isn't just all the light of you, it's your darkness too. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about the darkness in me, because the lighter I get, the more important it is for me to continue to be aware of and hold space for, and continue to nurture and see, and where it feels right to integrate and to heal, but at very least identify and send love to all my shadows. So let me think back over the last few days, like what some of my shadows have been. I would say feelings of being judgmental sometimes about when I'm hearing about people taking substances, alcohol, cannabis, and any other drugs, whether they're plant medicine or synthetic drugs, man-made, like alcohol's man-made. I describe it as that judgment. My guides were very tough with me about it. Like they said, John, you've got to respect everyone's free will. And sometimes I feel a bit like I use the term like ex-smoker. It's like I felt like when I gave up smoking, I risked being a preachy ex-smoker. It's like, oh, I gave up, you should give up too, blah blah blah. I felt like that was a risk for me, and I'm sure there still is the aspect to me in terms of alcohol and other drugs, but you can't deny that with plant medicine, so plants that God, Source, Mother Gaia, nature have created, that there's no coincidence, right? That those exist, that they are here to offer a path for us, should we choose to engage with them, that is supportive for us, and that they're not just filled with man-made or human invited in dark forces. So I am definitely like respecting that more and being less judgmental, and like really respecting people's free will. And it's just such a huge part of our lives, right? To respect each other's free will. I can't explain that enough to see how important it is. It's almost at the very heart of everything. Any other shadows? Hello, Patch. How you doing, buddy? Do I have any shadows about Patch? I guess just are you a bit tired? It's been a long drive, hasn't it? Good boy, you can see me. He's just down next to me here, and now he's up on the chair. We've been driving for quite a few hours, so we're probably due a toilet break for me and a little toilet break for him. We're currently at 7:30 p.m. and Google says we'd be home at 20 past 11. What's that? 4 hours. Wow. Yeah, we should probably take a break. But we've been at it. I think we left at like 4, so that means we've been at 3.5. Okay, yeah, that's a lot of hours, right? 3.5 plus 4, 7.5 hours. And I'm just gonna. My phone is overheating again, so I'm just going to just share a bit about. So I think I can still hear my GPS, but I can't see it. I'm just going to share a little bit about some of the dark forces that have attempted, that used to, have lost, are losing control over planet Earth. I met these, and if you wonder why am I talking about this after alcohol and my experience with drugs and shadows, is because it came up with it as a theme with each of the people that I met this week. It seemed important for me to share this message and I wasn't sure. It's like, I'm sure I did this in a video recently, maybe on the drive down, and now each person, I couldn't remember if I told them or not. But so this happened a few years ago now. I think it's close to two. It must be like between 2 and 3 years ago. So I was doing a client session, and I faced off against the primary 3 negative beings. So they're demonic beings, but not in like a humanoid-like form, very different form. These beings are, I can only describe them as like 3 giant black holes, and that they're bigger than the Earth, like significantly bigger than the Earth. And I was standing up against these three beings with my light sword, and also Archangel Michael's help. And I was like, it's like, hi, I'm John Binnie, versus, planet-sized demonic beings that have had control of the Earth for thousands of years. And the reason I shared the concept of them is that these beings, one of them, for example, created and controlled the Matrix. Just one being, and each of them have different superpowers or dark powers, if you like. The experience with them was that they were very. First of all, they were very dismissive of me. They're like, "Who are you, little ant, with your little shiny sword and little shiny heart?" What really shocked me about them the most was not their low vibration, which was level -99, like the lowest vibrational frequency of my understanding of the perceived universe. A bit like the temperature in the universe only goes down, we believe, to minus 273 Kelvin. Is that right? And because low vibrations only go so low, because eventually they go so low that there's no vibration, right? Whereas light is the opposite. You can keep going higher and higher and brighter and brighter. You just add more energy. So I guess you could argue the lowest vibration really is a void of energy, like no energy. Anywho, when I faced these beings and fought them with Archangel Michael, it felt like a big shift. It felt like, first of all, that we're equal regardless of our size and vibration, that all souls are equal in the universe. I absolutely resonate with that. Doesn't mean we'll have the same superpowers or learn how to yield them, but it feels like all of our superpowers are lightly equal. It's just, we each have the opportunity to face them and to nurture them and to develop them. I did find that I saw glimpses of them and how they control humans, and so these beings are very good at infiltrating the hearts of mankind. So I'm going to Hull and Doncaster, which is strange because it's not it's not on any of the signs. Just said keep the left 2 lanes to Hull and Doncaster. Maybe I'll see a sign. That sky is looking more beautiful, isn't it? More and more beautiful. It almost looks like a big ship. That's the lighter kind of peachy colour that you can see goes off camera and kind of shapes a bit like a big UFO. I saw how these huge dark entities were black hole entities influencing humans, and I can only describe the influence that they'd have over a human as being like, if you were to meet that human, that they were like a demon in a human flesh suit, like a meat suit, as it's sometimes called. So, if you're wondering what has been controlling our planet and encouraging us to, use drugs, including alcohol, to separate us from each other and separate us from, close our hearts. Okay, I think here's the sign here. Does it say M18 Hull Doncaster? There it is. Hull and Doncaster. We're going east, that feels good. We're going, because I live on the east. That sounds handy. Yep, that's what we're doing, left. And so continue for 9 miles, well. And this is great. I can maybe all those times that I tried to start this video and stopped, I could have just kept going because I think I just didn't feel confident listening to the GPS without seeing it. But actually, maybe the drive's a bit simpler now. It's mainly motorways, and eventually we get to the A1, which is the oldest, longest road in the UK. And once you're on it, you just go for hundreds of miles. A lot of it just single carriageway, and there's not a lot to it, right? You just keep going and stop when you need to. And I share these experiences and this knowing about the dark forces that have been controlling the earth, not out of fear. This is, you might be able to tell from the tone of my voice and the energy of how I feel about it. This is empowering, right? Know your enemy, know who you're up against. It doesn't mean you have to hate your enemy. It doesn't mean that you have to even do anything about it. But please do be conscious about your real enemies, because they are not the characters that you see on TV, the roles, the acting that you see in world leaders and celebrities and all the prominent people that you perceive to have power. They do not yield their power as individuals. They yield it through these giant entities, and they yield such power because we allow them to. We consciously delegate part of our individual free will to them. We give away that free will to them. Why do you think it seems important for us to vote for people? It's yet another way of consenting to specific people and the beings attached into them, allowing them into power. And that's what we tend to call it, right? We tend to call it like into power. Whereas I see our future, our new world that we're building together, that our leaders, and this includes me, will be subservient. And so you could describe, I would prefer to use leaders give us power. Leaders empower us. They don't just, take 10% of your free will, aggregate it across a country, and then just do a sometimes good job, sometimes bad job of representing you and your needs. How do they even know what you want? You only made a vote and said, just, I'll let that person in to my power, and then, they've got often no honor to actually keep their promises. How many times have you seen a world leader, a politician, break a promise? Like, all the time, right? So I'm not judging them. I'm just saying that system absolutely does not work for the human race. Voting people, and there might be safer ways of voting, right? But that way of voting seems very, very dangerous from a free will and giving your power away perspective. The other thing to look out for is feel into the energy of those that really trigger you in their actions. We've seen 100 days celebrated by one of the world leaders in office in their second term, and it is it's phenomenal to see. But remember there are, how to describe it, I'd like to not use their names, but there are organizations, families, cults, groups, or societies, like however you describe them, that do deals with people, right? This is how the devil comes for you, right? And the way it simply works is that they always get your consent incrementally for one more thing and one more thing. It's a bit like just have one more drink, and every time you do, you open yourself up and become more susceptible, and you become more lost. You lose your power giving it to others. And if you've ever been approached by them, and I will say one of them is more of like a public facing version of these organizations, and that's the Illuminati. Like, I've been contacted by them many times, and I mean, these are real people, right? They're not bots that DM you, and it happened way before really bots, were a thing. And the energy is really weird when they connect with you, and they often start with, "Can I ask you a question?" And it's such an ironic thing, right? Because what they're actually asking you a question, and so by saying yes, you then, it's like that's the first agreement that you've given. Like when you see in the movies when they say, when there's a vampire stood outside someone's house, rings the doorbell, and then when they're stood at the door, the vampire says, "Will you invite me in?" And they may say, and so the kind of victim, if you like, say, yeah, please come in, I invite you in. That consent is so important. So it's the A1M exit. Okay. Thank you, GPS. So that's what happens. Incremental consent, and every time you say yes, you're giving away parts of your free will and your soul, if you like. And they'll often bring things into your life. Now, with me personally, they never got past the "can I ask you a question?" right? Like, it was that stopped. Like, the conversation stopped at that point, and they're blocked, and that's it. No judgment. I don't care if I'm wrong, but it's better to be safe than sorry. But beware of those that bring false promises and there's some saying for this, right? That bring poison gifts, if you like, and that's exactly what they are. They'll bring, I remember this was just in the first message, promising things like record deals and millions of subscribers and all these things. And what's scary is the energy of what they were saying absolutely felt spot on. It felt absolutely real. Those promises felt true, but if someone came to you and said, would you like, I don't know, 10 million subscribers on YouTube, how would you feel about that? How would you really feel? Would you really want that? Would you really want that one person that had given it to you to yield such power and dominance in your life? So yeah, just keep aware of those things. We're going north, and if I get this wrong and we're going south, I would be very surprised. It's quite funny. The GPS just saying take the A1M, and they're both the A1M, and one says north and south. I am sure I live north, so we're going to go north. Cool. North, Leeds. So Leeds is Yorkshire. It's kind of, I think it's like the middle of the country, is that right? So yeah, that's right, because I crossed over from the west of the country over to the east. From the east to the west, you only go the best. So in terms of knowing your enemy, yeah, keep an eye out for the energy of those that are claiming to be world leaders and be in power at this time. And before I finish today, wow, look at the sunset, guys, look at this. Welcome to the fifth dimension. I would just bring your awareness to other planets have encountered these three black hole planet-sized negative entities, and when these demonic entities, when they've attacked other planets with their deceit and lies and control and poison gifts, that it wasn't just the leaders or the military of the planets that fought back. It was every living thing, because they realized that their free will, their very founding universal law, was under threat, was under attack. And so that fight wasn't just against, if every single person is fighting back in the planet, how can you ever win that? You're only gonna, for as long as the whole population fight you, you will have no opportunity for success, right? And even if you're able to destroy, win the war, if you like, you'll just have no one left on the planet, because they'll all have fought to their last dying battle, I guess. What is it to say, the last dying breath, or dying breath? Anywho, there's these planets were, Lyra, Arcturus, Pleiades or the planets and clusters. But on Earth, it's clearly been part of our journey to experience this control, perhaps so that we experience a more beautiful transition and ascension into freedom. That's like this planet, wow, like not only are we going through ascension, we're like breaking out of this dark control. Just phenomenal. I do feel some of us will choose to remain within it. There will be like heavier third dimensional aspects, a bit like the character in the Matrix that chooses to go back into the Matrix. I think he's eating a steak, isn't he? He's like, I know the steak isn't real. Like, I know that this is all just code and it's a program telling my mind that it's real and my taste buds that it tastes nice, but it's real to me. And everyone gets a choice. That's you can't break out of prison of where you've had your free will choice held back for so long, to then go out into a world where you no longer have be forced out against your will into a world that just makes you do things. That's not really a freedom, right? It's just one prison, smaller prison to bigger prison. So yeah, everyone gets their free will. Well, that was a fun, happy subject to talk about. But yeah, going back to the beginning, and there's such a contrast, juxtaposition, I feel, in these topics, is that it's so beautiful and powerful that the people that I met in person, we all spoke a lot about the new world we're building together. And it's not John Binnie's new world, right? It's everybody's. Everyone gets to choose their individual experiences, and as part of that, we get to choose how we work with each other. Do we enjoy doing things like this, like connecting with people online, getting to know people metaphysically, and also connecting physically, meeting up and hugging and saying hello? Like, these are all important things to feel into. And I had this lovely chat with Chloe about, lots of lovely chats, but one of them was about the subject of the third dimensional programming, like especially this Western style of living and working. I flashed that guy about 6 times, just in case I wasn't sure. Like I was saying to Chloe, I was saying, when I worked 9 to 5, I felt guilty for having weekends off. I remember thinking, who invented weekends? I mean, it just seems crazy that they would allow us to have, like our overlords would allow us to have a whole 2 days off, when we could be working during those days. And I was like, hang on, why am I being grateful to those who enslaved me for what is clearly just enough time for me to rest enough to not die, to have some chance at some degree of sustainability? So yeah, that was a bit of an epiphany. And Chloe said, we should do like a reel, that's right. I said to her, Chloe, let me try and sell you like the Western blueprint of a typical life. And so I said, Chloe, would you like to first of all go to school where we program you, and you can have you can choose from a limited choice of career paths. You'll then go into university we expect you to get, as many A's as you can, and to neglect your self-love to be able to achieve those during school. Go into university because that's just what everyone does. And then after you've done that, go into a career that is pays enough for you to buy a house, for which you'll be indebted for 25, 35 years or more. You'll either, if you have children, you can give up your career and significantly reduce your chances of coming back and enjoying your career. Now, let me just make it clear, I do not agree with that. I think it's awful. And I've always loved, when I worked in companies, I loved it when women came back into their careers after either short maternity leave or long, sometimes many years. Often for me, I felt like it was these people like gold dust, because they're often so overlooked by other employers, and it's like, wow, you're not worse than you were, you're even better than you were, because you've gone through this huge life-changing experience of having a child and becoming a parent, or becoming a parent again. So yeah, I felt really daft, like trying to sell it to Chloe, and I was saying, and then you can work until you're maybe 75, saving up for a pension that maybe will be worth an undetermined amount of money, and then by the time you retire, you may or may not be alive or healthy enough to enjoy it, and you may or may not still be in the marriage that you were in when you did or didn't have children, and you'll have been enslaved through a salary through the vast majority of your life, and you'll have never found your true joy. It's like, oh my god, this is like what we sell ourselves. It just doesn't seem, and just one, like, is this, I mean, I know there's some minor variations, like, do or don't get married, or do or don't have kids, and okay, they're huge life-changing events and they do significantly change things, but they're not particularly different, like, universally changing realities for people. That I find quite shocking. Even if you said to people, oh, by the way, age 40, you've got to change career. Turns out it's just the best thing for the world, right? That likely the second time round you choose a career, because it'll be at least the second time you choose a career, you're going to make a better choice, because you're more likely to follow the thing you love. And when your heart's in it, you do an even better job for society and for yourself. Like, even simple things like that would be, huge changes. Career changes are, huge life changes. What if it was partner changes, or what if we promoted the option for people to retire first and then work later, when you're young, so you just get this big loan, right? It's like, hey, you can have here's £400,000, go crazy for about 15 years when you're young and healthy and have the time for life, and then spend the rest of your life paying it off. I mean, I'm not suggesting that. It sounds like a horrible way to live, laterally, but it would be a more logical approach to the thing that we have at the moment, right? Maybe I should have gone to the services before, because this looks a bit grim. Oh no, it's really grim. I don't know what Patch is doing. He's digging up his bed. So yeah, it's been a wonderful few days. Just really grateful for it. And I'm going to just upload this video and look forward to getting home. I feel like it's possible I could get home tonight, although I felt possible until I hit this this traffic. We shall see. All right, take care, everyone. Sending love, love, love.